Hello, TikTok and YouTube. Making another toys video here, real quick. Let's see. Mathematically, based on what I've shared before, this should be the sixth episode that features Thomas Wooden Trains, and the second to feature Legos. And there'll be other assorted stuff that you might recognize from my niece and nephew. Currently, I'm on mental health leave from my pay the bills job, which is in law enforcement, which is why, for one, that's the main reason why I don't really include my niece and nephew in these videos. Obviously, they'd do a lot better if I did, but knowing what I know security wise, and still living in that life, and having to trying to get mentally healthy enough to go back to that life, because I need to do some overtime and trying to get back to being mentally healthy enough for that life. So that's why I haven't featured them in these videos yet. Shit. Okay, it doesn't want to flip the camera around while recording, so this is not. Okay, never mind. Apparently, I figured that part out, thankfully. So yeah, but I call this layout because of the red felt of the pool table, Sheldon Cooper's Martian colony, because as you may or may not be able to tell from the wide shot, we have Lego Big Bang Theory involved this time. Obviously, we still have the Lego NBA involved for the Lego side of things. So, yeah, your three main franchises here are Lego Big Bang Theory, the Lego NBA players from, what would that have been, 2002/2003, obviously. Because my favorite is actually not in the layout right now, because I'm saving Gary Payton from my favorite from this era, from what is probably Sheldon Cooper's fate at the moment. I think Sheldon fell through a gap in the pool table somewhere, so he's unfortunately missing in action on some sort of a away mission, basically. But let's see. Let's start to focus in on separate areas here. Okay. Because okay. Sorry, just trying to get them in better position than what I thought they. Okay, so let's see. Starting with the trains on the outside here, we got Bill with the mountain car and its supplies, and Daisy. Now, obviously, the Big Bang Theory background of this would be as if the entire gang agreed to be on the Martian colony. Obviously, Sheldon and Howard are building almost everything, so that's one of my pet peeves, is the narrow gauge and the standard gauge being the same size. But if this was Sheldon Cooper building a colony, they would have talked Sheldon into building all the trains to the same scale, so that way they have less to worry about. So that's why the narrow gauge engines and the standard gauge engines are the same size. Toy wise, that makes sense. If you were doing a Martian colony, that would mostly make sense until you decide you have to build separate stuff for separate industries. And we're pretending this is the very beginning stages of a Martian colony, obviously. And oh yeah, that's one of my metal Edwards right there. So that's an Ertl metal Edward right there, and Sir Topham Hatt Wooden right there. So let's see. Also, in the next train over would be Stepney. That he's one of the real life trains they put in Thomas. And obviously, if you wanted to, you could pretend he was female and call him Stephanie, but in Thomas canon, he's a boy named Stepney. So, and then up here on the upper pilot part, we have our candy cars with Lady, and the recycling rubber with my OG Edward, which obviously, with this Big Bang Theory being involved, that's obviously sort of, an adult joke, but, I'm trying to keep this PG enough for the kids to watch the video about the toys, so. So yeah, let's see, okay, next, so yeah, Stepney, Oliver, Breakdown Train, Oliver's, Break Van Toad, and then you got Splatter and Dodge, two of my other trains from the Thomas and the Magic Railroad set. You got Rusty with Splatter and Dodge, and one of the tenders from the Flying Scotsman. And then coming the other way, you have Skarloey, Sir Handel, and Rheneas, or Rheneas, depending on which pronunciation you prefer. Duncan, that's Sam, or is it Neil? Whichever the case, it's the ancient engine that first unloaded Skarloey in the 19th century when they were first building the narrow gauge railroad. He's a book character, just like Coldy, the mountain engine, is only a book character, and that's all obviously Coldy's mountain supply car, plus behind Annie and Clarabelle on Thomas's train here is Coldy's coach from the Mountain Railway, and then you got Mavis and Coldy behind Thomas for pushing him up and down the thing, because with the whole this being a colony thing, you picture these trains don't actually have very much strength compared to what they're supposed to have. They're basically carnival trains. And also they're basically kind of the bedrooms / labs / apartments for the colonists, obviously. So knowing Penny and and Howard and Bernadette, they would make sure, and Amy, they would make sure that Sheldon would provide plenty of places for people to be lonely together. That's the most G-rated PG way for me to say that I can think of right now. So I'm hoping I'm doing a good job on that. I'm at 6 minutes and 31 seconds here. So my impetus for trying to get this in quickly is I want the organized version of it to be online before my nephew comes home and starts playing with the toys. So that way that my niece and nephew can actually play with the toys without me caring how they get messed up. Because we're going to be watching them tonight and most of the school week probably, which I shouldn't have actually said out loud. But you know what? Me and my wife are very security minded, and you know what? Yeah. All right. Harold the helicopter is on top of Cranky the crane. Yeah, that's right. My wife would probably say I've mostly been cranky lately because I've recovering from what may or may not be a psychotic break, and I'm trying to get strong enough to do the therapy so I can get mentally well enough to go back to work. Yeah, it's in some ways having all this time off for the mental side of things is what I needed to do, soul searching and try to get mentally better here. Oh, and I have more than one Wooden Edward in the layout. Longtime viewers of the wooden trains would know that I call the newer version of Edward Cullen, just because I'm making the joke that I'm annoyed that Edward Cullen is the more popular fictitious Edward compared to Edward the Blue Engine now. Probably the most popular fictitious Edward in the world, unless there's, a literary character I'm horrifically forgetting. But, obviously, sort of the backstory with the basketball players is Howard is, creating robotic basketball players so that everybody has some, entertainment to help people from going crazy. So that's how the basketball angle fits into the Martian colony angle. So here, since I only have less than a minute and a half, let me zoom, try to give you a better picture of everything here. Let's see here. Zoom in on the guys here. That is Howard with blonde hair because I can't find the brunette hair at the moment. So Leonard Hofstadter also has blonde hair at the moment when he's supposed to have dark brown hair as well. So that's Leonard and Penny next to the basketball players. I've got, I think, 2 Kobe's and a Shaq right next to Tony Kukoc. You got 2 Dirk Nowitzki's that don't have hair because I'm borrowing their blonde hair. You got the Milwaukee Bucks mascot and the Clippers mascot from, McDonald's toys of recent design or whatever. Let's see. There's Raj, and Raj's dog is on top of Darth Vader's head. You got a Scotty and a Klingon talking to Luke Skywalker here. Sheldon's chair is over here by Coldy, Duck, and Boko. There's Birdie the bus, Trevor the traction engine. Okay, so that would be the house from Thomas Comes to Breakfast, but I couldn't find the lid for it. And that's the beekeeper's place from James Goes Buzz, 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 which is how you get the wooden Boko, by the way.